It's quite flattering to be asked to come up here again and introduce the event because because I go to quite a lot of events, obviously. I mean, it's that or work, basically, and I know which I prefer. But to be asked to speak at an event that you would actually have paid to go to, I think is very special. And so that's why this conference, which I've always really enjoyed, has been flattering me by asking me to come here. And I want to begin by saying that some of the older people in the room like me, I can remember when acquiring was quite boring. I don't know if, so there's some other people down here that can sort of remember that, where you didn't really need nothing much happened from one year's end to the next, so you didn't really need a conference. So it's very different to be living in times like these, where you literally have no idea what's going to happen month on month. And that's why this conference has grown steadily more valuable over the years, because we're actually living in a time of change now. And I want to emphasize just how much the discussions that I hope you'll all take part in, because the conference has that kind of right interactive atmosphere, are so valuable to forming strategies for the coming year. So please take the time to meet new people, to interact, to ask the questions, to make it valuable for everybody. There's an exponential learning to all of this. I want to start by talking a little bit about the event today. It's quite exciting, actually, because this is the biggest MPE so far. There's over 1,000 participants here this year, which I think is fantastic and a testament to what a great job Philip and his sponsors have done putting it together. There are 250 merchant participants as well, which I also think is fantastic. Getting people to come out of the office for a couple of days and come to this is a big ask. So again, it's a testament to the event and what the guys have put together. Now, there's going to be a few, I said we're living in a time of change. There's going to be a few new things this year, so we'll see how they go. So first of all, and this is big, you can win. So first of all, we're going to be big on Twitter this year. So Twitter it's very popular with young people. It's a social media sort of thing. So we're going to be very big on Twitter this year. And so in order to encourage you to try it out for yourselves, there's going to be 10 free passes awarded for next year for MPE 2020. If you want a free pass for MPE 2020, then you need to tweet. And the first 10 people that get retweeted, so tweeting's not enough, anybody can do that. But you've got to be interesting enough to be retweeted. That's the new badge, right? If you can't get retweeted, it's very disappointing. So the first 10, so if you use hashtag MPE ecosystem or hashtag I love MPE, and you say something interesting enough to be retweeted, the first 10 people to be retweeted will get a free pass to next year's event. Now, I think that's amazing. Why you're still looking at me and not tweeting right now, I have literally no idea. You should be tweeting right now. It's only the first 10. Did I make that clear? The first 10 people to be retweeted, it's a free pass to next year. So come and join the modern way. See, some people, you don't remember how boring conferences used to be before Twitter. I love Twitter. Because when you used to go to conferences, you'd just be listening to someone on stage droning on with some PowerPoint about, Oracle Financials 9.7 or something. Whereas because of Twitter, you can find out what everybody thinks about it. Because of Twitter, you can engage with everybody, and you can learn from everybody because of what they comment and what they say. So please, Twitter is fantastic. It's zeitgeist. Oh yeah, I can adjust to local conditions. There's no, people say the English don't learn foreign languages. We don't. No, wrong. Twitter is zeitgeist. So get tweeting. The first 10 people, free passes. Now, if you don't know what Twitter is, or you don't have a mobile phone or something like that, you're Amish maybe, there's also 10 free passes to be won by actually filling in the evaluation forms. I know you get bored hearing people say this, I certainly do, but they actually do read the feedback and pay attention to it. So you've got two ways of doing feedback now. You can do it the way I do it, You do hashtag I love MPE, this guy sucks, get him off stage, what's he doing here? That's valid feedback and we pay attention to it. But you can also do it in the traditional manner by filling out the feedback forms, and the feedback forms will also go into a drawer, and the first 10 drawn out will also get a free pass for next year. So there's 1,000 participants this year. There's going to be even more next year, but 20 of them won't be paying. If you want to be one of those 20, you have 2 ways of doing it. Now, the other new thing, well, amongst the other new things this year, there's a couple more to come. So one of them is this year we're having these kind of side programs that are going on. And there's some different side programs for different groups of people. It's all in the pack. I won't go into it all here, but there's a couple I just want to remind you about. So for the merchants, there's the ice-breaking session directly after session 1. That's this session. So the merchant ice-breaking session is directly after this session. After the first session, day 1 and day 2, we're going to have a special energizer session. Now, again, for those of us who can remember when conferences about acquiring didn't need brain calming techniques brought in, this is going to be a bit of an innovation. But because the content is literally so exciting this year, and you're going to be so, we've brought in a specialized, I get this right, a certified Wim Hof method. Actually, I'm pretty sure we haven't invited a couch. I'm pretty sure we invited a coach. So I'll be on the certified Wim Hof method couch. But for those of you who want to have your brains recharged in a special energizer session, the certified Wim Hof method coach, who is Victor, who I can see out the corner of my eye. Victor, can you stand up and make yourself even more noticeable than you already are? So in session 1 and session 2, Victor is going to do a brain recharge clinic in here, which will help you to clear your minds. Please don't start now, because the panelists... So wait to clear your mind until Victor says so during the first break. And that will help you to calm down and absorb more material later during the day. In the afternoon coffee breaks, there's going to be the topical table discussions out in the table room, which will be moderated by Safe Charge Get, EasyCap, and Raiffeisen Bank International. So this is another innovation for this year, is to have these discussion tables. So in the afternoon coffee breaks, instead of milling around aimlessly, you can interact with some people and learn some new things. And hopefully you will share some of your knowledge in those discussion tables as well. I need to remind you about the app, because like all modern conferences, there's an app. So if you download the app and log into it, you can use it to network, to ask questions, to interact with people. So please give that a try as well. And also the questions, if you don't feel comfortable putting your hand up and asking, use the app. Ask questions during the app, because again, even if the question isn't picked up by the people on stage, the questions are being looked at by us, so we can see what it is that you guys are interested in and where your questions aren't being answered. That's valuable input to us for the coming year as well, so please do that. Okay, now, we have a couple of last-minute changes to the program to announce as well. So in the session 1 panel, Paul Adams from Barclaycard, International Payments Director of Barclaycard, will be joining panel 1. Miguel Mateus of EasyCap will be replacing Reda. So that means that panel 1 is... there's another change to panel 1 as well. So Niklaus from Payphone is going to go into panel 2, which is the M&A panel instead. So I hope you're writing all of this down. You're just... No, look, I'll go through it again. So, no, look, it's quite simple. Paul Adams from Barclaycard is going to be on session 1, right? As is Miguel Mateus, who's replacing Reda. And Niklaus is going on to panel 2, which is the M&A panel. It's quite straightforward, okay? Victor, I think we may need some brain... Do you do emergency brain calming by any chance? Because we may need a... Okay, if there's any on-call brain calming, we may need some of it down the front as we go along. Now, I want to say one quick thing before we move into the first presentation. So I want to say that the amount of change that you guys have it's recognized. So I, certainly because I know quite a few of the people in the room, I know how we're all trying to juggle change across multiple axes at the moment. In particular, we have the issue of, the ever-present issue of the technology changes, which we all understand. And we may not know quite where they're going, but at least we can see what's going on there. On top of that, we've got the layers of business change, the continuing search for new business model. I know the last couple of years we spent a lot of time discussing the value-added services that are available in what you might call the merchant service provider model. I expect to learn a lot about those changes here. We have extra issues because of regulatory change. Last year, for those of you who can remember, we spent half the time talking about GDPR, although unfortunately because of GDPR I couldn't look up who was here last year and who had been discussing it, but we did spend a lot of time discussing it. We never really got to the end of that. Last year, PSD2 was a discussion point. This year, it's a panic point. You've only got until September. And in fact, the ASPSPs have to be registered in March, don't they, if I remember correct? So, yes. So if you're a TPP, if you're an AISP or PISP TPP that wants SCA 2FA API access to ASPSP, yes, there is going to be a test on this later on, but I don't think there'll be a free pass for it. You're supposed to register, that's supposed to be, the ASPSP APIs are supposed to be ready in March, right? Aren't they? Yes, that's correct. And then the rest of you got until September to find out a way of using it. Plus, for some of us, we've also got the issue of hard borders and Brexit and WTO rules, and I know, and nobody could tell me this morning, if we have to go under WTO rules for cross-border acquiring with Europe, what is the tariff on transactions for cards? Nobody can even answer this to me. This is how unprepared we are. It's high. Yes, it'll be higher than the tariff on cars, probably, won't it? So not only have we got the normal technological change to deal with, and I hope that you'll look at what people have to offer outside. Not only do we have the business changes to deal with the new business models, we also have this kind of swirling regulatory change where we all have to change because we've all got to introduce. I don't want to go through it again. But look, you take what seems like a little thing, we have to have SCA the implications of that for our businesses are so vast and so complicated. I can't emphasize how important it is to interact with people here today and try to help to formulate the strategies around this. It is a huge change in our business. On top of that, we've got the transition to direct-to-account methods. We've got potentially not only the end of cards, but the end of POS that goes with it as we shift into this era of ambient acquiring, Internet of Things, payments everywhere. To try and formulate strategies right now is genuinely difficult. I really hope the conference today is going to help you and your organizations.